Now, back to the Blitz, the Friday Night Blitz State Finals preview.
Time to get it on.
And welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night Blitz and our state finals preview special. We go to the Class 1 state finals where the Wythe Maroons, they won their first state title in 2002. Then the Maroons won it again in 2012. Tomorrow at noon at Salem Stadium, they have a chance to stay on schedule of lifting a state trophy every decade when Wythe takes on Riverheads. First, let's check out the Wythe Maroons in their 2022 season and their playoff history. Now, Wythe, they have a record of 10-3. Their losses came at home to Radford in week 1, Graham in week 6, and Grundy in week 8. The Maroons are averaging 32 points per game, and the Maroons are on a 6-game winning streak. And tomorrow's game at Salem Stadium will be Wythe's second game ever at the Salem facility, winning it back in 2012. Now, Wythe, they are the Mountain Empire district champions. And here's the Maroons' playoff history. Saturday will be Wythe's fourth state title game. The Maroons, as we mentioned earlier, they won it back in 2002, beating Buckingham County. In 2012, they won out of Honaker. This will be the team's second ever playoff meeting between them. Riverheads beat Wythe in the 2015 Class 1 semifinals 31-20. And the Maroons, they have an overall playoff record of 36-22. WFXR Sports' David de Guzman looks at how the Maroons punched their ticket to Salem.
Don't do that on me. Wythe's state semifinal victory over Grundy was an emotional one for head coach Brandon Harner.
Exhaustion from this week, preparation, happiness, adrenaline, and just everything that my kids and my wife have to do to allow me to do this. And the time away from them, it's a lot.
The Maroons avenged their regular season loss to the Golden Wave and booked their first trip to the state championship game in 10 years.
It's just countless hours. We've all improved as a team. We've all came together. I think we finally clicked, and I just got to thank God. That's all it is. To get this opportunity is something once of a lifetime, and that's all we can do is thank God.
Wythe is no stranger to overcoming adversity. When star quarterback Luke Jolly went down with an injury at the beginning of the season, Harner put in Tandem Smith and stuck with him at QB even when Luke returned to the field.
That was probably one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make, and that hurts me. I mean, because Luke Jolly he's an all-star. He gets hurt, but we're rolling on offense. Tandem does some good things. And he said, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes to win. So he goes to wide out, he goes to tight end, he goes to slot. Tandem's done a great job, don't get me wrong. But what Luke did after that says everything about our team.
Now the Maroons will need to take down the 6-time defending champions Riverheads in order to bring a state title back to Wytheville.
Our kids are going to have to play better than they did today. And that's saying a lot, but they're going to have to.
But the players aren't intimidated about facing one of the most successful powerhouse programs in the state.
At the start of the summer, it's all about focus. It's all about those first couple weeks. And then you realize that you're good and you start winning. And then you're like, we can make it the distance. And then when you know you can make it that distance, that's the only thing you need. I think we can get it done. I'm excited to see what me and my boys can do, and I'm super excited.
And the Maroons will be relying on their faithful fans to help get the job done in Salem.
The crowd is always the biggest part. I mean, if they're giving us energy, then it gives us energy. And then when everybody's excited, that makes us excited. We definitely want the big crowd at the state game. I'd remember it for the rest of my life. It's one of those moments that you'll never forget.
In Wytheville for Friday Night Blitz, David de Guzman, WFXR Sports.
Thank you so much, David. Now for Wythe's opponent, the 6-time defending Class 1 champs in the Riverhead Gladiators. This year they went 11-1. The Gladiators' only loss was at home to Lord Balatot in week 3. Riverheads are averaging 39 points per game, and this is the Gladiators' 8th game at Salem Stadium with a 7-0 record, all in state title games. The Gladiators have been on a big run as they are on a 9-game winning streak, but they won 61 of their last 62 games. One side note, Riverheads head coach Ray Norcross went to Wythe High School during his freshman year back in the 70s. Now for the Riverhead Gladiators, Saturday will be their 11th state title game. They are 9-1 in title games, including last year winning over Galax in the final there, 45-14. Riverheads, they've won the last 6 Class 1 titles, and this will be the second meeting against the Gladiators and as well as Wythe. They won the Class 1 semifinal game back in 2015 as they have a 52-18 playoff record. Now, when it comes to local teams, Riverheads, they have a 14-9 record in the playoffs against our local teams. Of the 9 state titles, 4 came to expense of local teams, as Riverheads beat Gileax in 2019, the spring 2021, and the fall of 2021 season, and they beat Eastern Montgomery back in 2010.